Well, over the course of development, we've continued to iterate and try to make sure that the game that we've got is a game that really hits the core XCOM pillars, which from my point of view are things like tactics, teamwork, tools, tension, terror. And we've continued to iterate on the game that we're working on to make sure that it hits all of those beats. If the version in 2010 had a great sense of terror, that fear of going around the corner and having no idea what might be coming, where it really wasn't, it didn't quite hit on the teamwork. You didn't have that feeling of being in command of your squad, of being responsible for their every action out on the field. And we felt that was critical for the game. So one of the things that we've been iterating towards is the battle focus mode that we showed today, where you are not only out there on the squad yourself as part of the battle with your boots on the battlefield, but it's also incredibly important that you you manage where your agents do, you build a tactical plan that's coordinated between them, and you are ultimately responsible for the success of the mission on the battlefield. In the course of the campaign, you have the ability to choose from optional missions or from just moving through the main story. If you want to, you can take optional side missions where you and your agents go out on the field and further the objectives of the XCOM organization. You also have dispatch missions where you can send agents who are not going out on the field with you out to get additional experience and do additional work out there and get additional intel for XCOM. And then there are the main story missions. That is the core of the game. When you start one of those missions, it moves the plot forward and there is no returning after that. So one of the things that we've done in the Bureau is we've really streamlined the amount of management that the player has to do in the base. All of the things that you're familiar with from a game like Enemy Unknown, like research, those are still happening, but they're happening as part of the story. They're not something that the player has to directly be involved with. And the reason for that is we feel like in this game, at the origin of the XCOM organization, one, they don't have that kind of infrastructure built up yet, and two, there's a war on. There are alien invasions going on, and your highest priority as the player is to go out there and stop them. You start out with the classic weapons of 1962, things like a shotgun or a sniper rifle or a pistol, but quickly, because the XCOM team is so much outgunned by these aliens, they decide to start taking the alien weapons and using them against them. That quickly brings them up to laser weapons, like the ones we saw in the demo today, the scatter laser and the laser SMG. Over the course of the game, following the classic XCOM progression, you'll also get plasma weapons and be able to use those. There are 4 classes. One of them is the Commando, who's a good all-around soldier and has the ability to do things that really sort of take control of the battlefield, like taunt enemies out of cover or to push them back out and allow you to do more damage to them. There's the Engineer. He brings tools and gadgets to the battlefield, things like being able to deploy a mine or a turret in the middle of the battle. It's almost like having a 4th agent on your team for a short amount of time when you do that. The support agent is more of he kind of buffs up your team. He brings things like combat stims to the team to make, he has the ability to affect your team and make them more effective on the field. And the recon guy, he's a sniper and does a good job of long distance sniping and taking enemies out quickly. Well, one of the things that happens is that people who are infected, you will see them over the course of the game. Some of them have been turned into sleeper agents, and once they turn on you, there's really no going back. But some of them are just in this benign sort of looping state, waiting to be activated, if you will. And one of the things the XCOM team back at the base is trying to do is understand and potentially cure the sleepwalker virus. The decisions that you as the player make over the course of the game will actually have a direct effect on whether they'll be able to do that. Well, I think it's a little of both, right? It's absolutely XCOM fans, but it is also, there are some people out there that don't like turn-based games. Now, I'm not one of them. I like them a lot. But some people think that turn-based games just aren't really for them. So our hope is that by providing a game that really has a little bit of more of a modern interface, but absolutely requires the same skill, requires the same tactics, requires people to really bring their best to the battlefield in order to even have a chance of success, that will be able to potentially open up the XCOM franchise for people who haven't experienced it before by bringing in these more modern folks, and then maybe they'll give some of the other games a chance based on that.